gonna be talking about the biggest controversy in gaming, and you know what? I might actually get cancelled after making this video, but hey man, we gotta do God's work. You and me combined, we gotta come together as one. They always like to call you toxic gamers, toxic masculinity. You know what? You're just jealous and all that stuff. You're a hater, but we need to actually talk about this because there are only two things in this world of gaming that trends every single day. Number one, I guess you already know, that is GTA 6, and secondly, well, this is the subject right now because an Infinity Ward dev, he quit from Activision. Okay, he pieced out, so now he's a former dev, and he just exposed the Infinity Ward. He just went crazy. He just exposed the Activision as well, and now it's actually trending over on Twitter. Everybody's talking about it, and we have a video. Let's actually check it out. Drop a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new.
And as we get ready for another year of COD, it's time once again to bring up skill-based matchmaking, right? Because you guys know, I know, we all know damn well,
there it is.
As soon as everyone has their hands on this game, the first thing people are going to be talking about is, oh my goodness, skill-based matchmaking, it's so sweaty.
You know what? You're just jealous. Toxic masculinity. You're toxic.
It's so terrible. It's such a hard time. Look, I get it, man. Skill-based matchmaking sucks, believe me. But there's an interesting little bit of news here that I wanted to cover as we get ready for the full launch of the game. So Mark Rubin, you guys may know this guy's name. Mark Rubin was the executive producer at Infinity Ward from 2005 to 2015, which means
and right now he's working at Caps, right? Ubisoft over on that X-Defined game, if I'm not wrong.
Worked on Call of Duty 2, COD 4, Modern Warfare 2, the original one, Modern Warfare 3, as well as Call of Duty Ghosts, like the old school.
He was basically the face of Modern Warfare 3. Yo, Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3? I'll go with Modern Warfare 3. Modern Warfare 3. I know, but I'll go with Modern Warfare 3.
Infinity Ward games, essentially, right? He's now the executive producer at Ubisoft, and he's working on the upcoming game X Defiant, which is making waves in the games industry because they have this very, like, contrasting...
Wrong. It's not even making waves. Everyone is like, yeah, it's bad, and people are getting labeled as toxic gamers.
Stands against the idea of skill-based matchmaking within casual matches. As COD fans, that's something we've been talking about for a very long time, and Mark...
Okay, if they're not gonna have skill-based matchmaking, that's the best game. That's the best game. I agree.
Took to Twitter last night to post this giant wall of text right here, which I know is like way too much for you guys to read. So I'm gonna read it to you.
It's not just way too much. Wrong. It's mega. It's gigantic. It's I cannot read this. This is massive. Okay. As Kimberly Sweet Brown once said, ain't nobody got time for that.
I think this is like a very clear message from a former COD dev, like one of the higher ups at Infinity Ward, and I really think it applies to Call of Duty nowadays, and I think it should apply to games across the board going forward. So cue the nice music, cue the crackling fire sounds as I just read this entire blog post to you. So skill-based matchmaking has been a hot topic for a while and was trending on Twitter, so I wanted to take some time to write up my thoughts.
W Mark Rubin.
Thing I'm not going to do is try to make this divisive. I'm not here to say that people who like skill-based matchmaking are wrong or that people who don't
Wrong. W Nero as well.
On skill-based matchmaking are right. This is just my point of view and maybe one shared by a portion of the community. So to be upfront,
not portion, basically everybody. Wrong.
Clear, I am not a fan of skill-based matchmaking, and here is why. When you play a game with strict skill-based matchmaking, you are playing with and against a group of players that are, for the most part, just like you. They have a similar skill level and probably play in a similar way as you. And on paper, that sounds kind of fair. And you would be right if strict competition was your goal. And I am fine having that kind of experience in a ranked mode where there is a goal and reward for playing competitively. But
bro, W Mark, that's exactly what I'm saying, right? Like, we need skill-based matchmaking. Well, I know, but listen to me. Okay, wait for it. Listen, okay, everybody calm down, simmer down. We need skill-based matchmaking, but only in ranked lobbies. I feel like there's some days you wanna sweat. Sometimes you want to sweat like crazy. Other times you want to just play the random chaos in public lobbies where sometimes you have a good time, other times you have a bad time. Now understand this. I hear this all the time. You know what? You're just jealous. You know what? You're just toxic and problematic. My guy, having no skill-based matchmaking doesn't mean someone is toxic or doesn't mean that they want to stomp on noobs all day. Yeah, there are people like that, okay? That want to do that. And there, in a way, there's nothing wrong with that, right? I know, but listen. We, back in the days, public lobbies were completely random, where if you would play that, sometimes you would have 6v6 where the entire enemy team would be like crazy sweat lords, okay? Crazy lads. They would be sweating their butt off, and quite frankly, man, that's all what they do. They need to touch grass. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. But sometimes you would have lobbies where you can go like 20-0. You know, life would be kind of like simple. It would be beautiful. It would be like as though you were climbing Mount Everest. Remember, like, probably not, because you would never climb Mount Everest, right? So like, bruh. Yeah, but you would get the equal amount of dopamine as you would if you were to climb Mount Everest, but you would get that in Call of Duty lobbies, okay? Because we had no skill-based matchmaking. We had normal public lobbies. That's how it's supposed to be. I'm saying, let's keep it normal, okay? Let's keep public, okay? And then on the other side, let's have ranked with extra thick-ass skill-based matchmaking. Just extra, just go all in. Drop like 20 megatons of skill-based matchmaking in it, okay? Rank play and normal public lobbies where it's just completely random, where you're not playing against your clones. Like if you're using M4, your enemy is using M4. If you're using AK, the enemy is using AK. If you're using a shotgun, the enemy is using a shotgun. I mean, like, damn, man. Like, I see a lot of potential with Modern Warfare 2. It's a great game, okay? I know some of you will be like, wrong, and go off, okay? We got freedom of speech here. I'm not gonna cuck you, okay? So you can just you can go off, but I mean, damn. But let's see what Mark gotta say.
Would you watch football if there were no standings, no playoffs, or Super Bowl? Ranked exists for a reason, to give players who want to push themselves competitively a place to do so and be rewarded for it. And when it comes to casual play, I don't think this is the right experience. So again, with strict skill-based matchmaking and even the new term engagement-based matchmaking, which just sounds like PR marketing smoke and mirrors to me.
Engagement-based matchmaking, those of you that do not know, it basically means microtransaction. Money, my friend, money, give me your money. Money. Yeah, basically it's they are trying to have an algorithm in place where it's gonna matchmake you with someone that may or may not have a new weapon in the game, that may or may not have alternate stats that will kind of like make it so that weapon that person is using will be statistically better than your weapon. That's basically the conspiracy right now in the Call of Duty industry right now. And in fact, quite frankly, we did discover some documents as well that does mention skill-based matchmaking, that does mention engagement-based matchmaking. Their goal is to keep you playing the game as much as possible and to spend money on it as much as possible. This is why SBMM exists. This is why engagement-based matchmaking exists. Yeah, F the hardcore fans. If the skill-based matchmaking doesn't work with them, hey, F that. We gotta just care about the casuals. And I'm not even sure if all the casuals will like that. At the end of the day, though, you gotta understand that there will be some casuals. In Urdu, I would like to say, कभी कभी तो बच्चा बड़ा हो ही जाता है ना, बच्चे ने तो एक दिन बड़ा होना ही है. In English, what I'm trying to say here is that if you are a new player, yeah, skill-based matchmaking is gonna help you. But then once you grow up, once you start getting better at the game, then that skill-based matchmaking is gonna bite you in the ass. That's basically what this is all about. It's a cycle, and I'm not sure if Activision is ready. Like, if Activision just wanna have Call of Duty for the next 5 years and then just cuck the franchise, then understandable. Go all out, make your money, that's it. But if you wanna have this franchise for hundreds and hundreds of years to come, I know that sounds like crazy, I get it, but you know what I mean, right? If you want to have this for long term, you gotta go easy on skill-based matchmaking. You gotta pump the brakes, like you gotta pump the brakes, otherwise you can go full throttle, man. I mean, damn, son.
You are going to get an experience where every match feels the same. You will be playing against the same type of player and the same skill level of player over and over and over again. If you start to improve your skills, you'll probably get a few games where you feel a bit dominant, but don't worry, the algorithm will bring you back down to the same stale experience shortly. I'm in favor of removing skill-based matchmaking from casual play because I want players to have a varied experience. And no, it's not about pub stomping, it's about variety. The graph of players,
bro, exactly. Mark Rubin. Okay, first of all, we gotta praise Okay, we praise and bow down, everybody. This is our hero and savior. Even though he went with UB Snooze out there, everybody was like, you know what, like, I'm never gonna play XDefiant. Yeah. But now people are gonna hear about the fact that that game is gonna be skill-based matchmaking free. Everybody was like, bruh, like, we gotta, like, I'm gonna, like, this is that W, like, I'm gonna go ahead and buy XDefiant. And my guy, I feel like that XDefiant, I could be wrong, but I think XDefiant is free, so no purchasing. You can just go all gas, no brakes. Crazy, I know.
Skill is a bell curve, and so in matchmaking with no SBMM, and depending on where you are on that curve, most players are in the middle class because bell curve, you will mathematically on average have players in your lobby that are better than you and players that are worse than you. Now the people right smack in the middle will have 50% of the players being better than them and 50% of the players being worse than them on average, and if you are somewhere else on that curve, you will get the obvious, you can do the math, percent averages that match your position. But the key here is average. That doesn't mean every match will be the same. Some matches you will feel like you're getting stomped, and some matches you will feel like you are doing the stomping, and you will be able to feel your improvements as the math of averages adjust to your new skill level. To me, the key to a great gaming experience is variety. I want to play against players better than me, and I want to feel proud of being one of the better players in the match, and I feel that skill-based matchmaking takes away that variety and makes me play.
This is by far the best take I've ever heard. This is level-headed, it's coming from a dev, and most importantly, it's coming from a dev that actually worked on multiple Call of Duty games. Understand this is not a dev that is like, okay, that has no experience on Call of Duty, but in fact this is a dev that had worked on multiple games, so he got like multiple years of experience in terms of Call of Duty, and he's just going in with a very level-headed take. Thoughts? You agree with Mark? You disagree? Let me know.
The same match over and over again. So once again, that was coming in from Mark Rubin, the former executive producer at Infinity Ward. He was there for a decade. He worked on classic games like Call of Duty 4, the original Modern Warfare.
My decade? I thought he was like only there for like maybe like 5 years, but a decade. Even I was wrong. We were all wrong. We were wrong. This is why I always say, guys, you are wrong, I'm wrong, we are all wrong. Always gonna be, okay? We are always gonna be wrong. We're learning and growing. We're learning and growing. I mean, damn, son, like, that's crazy.
As well as Modern Warfare 3, and I think he brings up a lot of great points here. These are things that we've been talking about in the community for years. Obviously, Call of Duty is very against the idea of getting rid of skill-based matchmaking because there needs to be a player onboarding experience. But even on Twitter, Mark Rubin's like debating with other people. Robert Bourne's agreeing with him, and he's debating.
Yo, get your overclock keyboards ready. Get your Twitter finger pro, man. I want to see that action.
These other guys though that say we need to have a player onboarding experience. If you're brand new to the game, you know, hypothetically, if I got Courtney to come play COD with me, she would not have fun because she would not know how to use the controller. She would not be very good, and she would basically get stomped. And if you have that really bad
you cannot tell me what to do because you're a man. You're a man. You can't tell me what to do.
Experience when you first start playing, then of course you're probably not going to want to keep playing the game. Like if it's that bad at this day and age, of course, back in the day we didn't hold hands, but at this day and age, if you have a bad onboarding experience, you're probably not going to play the game. But Mark Rubin even says, like, even in their game XDefiant, they're gonna have an onboarding experience where if you're brand new to the game, there will be like some form of skill-based matchmaking to help.
What?
Bomboka!
What? Yo, prepare for impact. Prepare for impact. What? Oh my god. I'm shaking.
I'm shaking.
God damn. Damn. They're also gonna have skill-based matchmaking. But they're gonna have skill-based matchmaking just for like any of the beningings kind of thing, and that's what my point is, okay?
Bruh.
I know. But like, you can have a little bit of skill-based matchmaking, and you know what? Call of Duty done that back in the days. Black Ops 1, if I'm not wrong, if I'm not wrong, it had level 10 bootcamp where, you know what, if you're a new player, you're gonna be in the bootcamp playlist. You cannot play with anybody else. You can only play with level 1 to level 10 players. Why not bring that in? I feel like that XDefiant is gonna do a similar thing. I'm saying do that where in Call of Duty there's a bootcamp playlist. So if you want to protect the noobs, all right, you can have a playlist where a new player can play in that playlist from level 1 to maybe level 20 or maybe even 30, and they're locked in that playlist. Yeah, you got team deathmatch and all those game modes, but you can stay in. Or maybe, you know, there will be some people like, you know, I don't want to be babysit, I'm a Call of Duty veteran, like, do not do that to me. I feel like that there needs to be an option. So once you pick up the game, if you're a new player, you never played Call of Duty, you have the option, they give you option, hey, do you want to like go in boot camp or do you want to go in normal public? If you accept boot camp, you stay in the lobby for maybe 30 levels, you learn the game, you play against your levels of player, and that's it, right? Like, that's the way to counter skill-based matchmaking. And yeah, in that boot camp you can have skill-based matchmaking where if somebody's like going really crazy, you can cuck them, you can clip their nuts, and that's it, right? If they were getting 10 kills, 0 deaths, then all of a sudden they get like 2 kills, 10 deaths, okay?
Bruh.
Exaggerated example, but you get the point, right?
Help protect those brand new players. Do I need to bring up once again the exclusive Ace clip where he was able to reverse boost or got into a counter or whatever?
Oh, yes, I remember that. That was crazy, bro. Like, we have the scientist exclusive Ace. Love that man. I met that guy at Call of Duty Modern Warfare 19. You win. That was 3 years ago.
See, the people
Crazy
in this
guy.
lobby clearly have no idea what they're doing. They've never played a first-person shooter, let alone a Call of Duty game before. They're just all so oblivious to what's happening, you know what I mean? Like, so, sure, there should be a protected bracket for people.
I should have been playing this clown music, but these are Call of Duty lobbies, ladies and gentlemen. He is shooting, so they hear with their headset, they listen with their headset, they see the red dot on the minimap because obviously this game is made by Treyarch. This is Black Ops Cold War. This was not made by Infinity Ward, so the minimap system worked, and they still don't see it. And now it kind of makes sense why Infinity Ward completely got rid of the normal minimap. No red dots when you shoot the weapon, because you can see these guys, they are not even looking at the minimap. Bruh.
Like that. You know, if a 7-year-old wants to pick up the game, which they probably shouldn't,
Now
it's an immature game, but regardless, you know, if a kid wants to pick up the game and they're brand new, you know, there should be some sort of onboarding experience, not even just for COD, but virtually every video game out there. I understand that, but after that, once you get to the point where you are competent with the game, you get thrown into normal matchmaking, and again, you have that variety where there's going to be people better than you, and law of averages, there's also going to be people worse than you. Even if you're brand new to the series, you're not going to be the worst player there. You know, that's just going to be how it goes. And with team balancing and how team balancing works, if you're brand new and you're awful, they're going to put you on the same team as someone with a normal matchmaking system, as someone who's like really good. You know what I mean? Like, if I always talked about this back in like Black Ops 4, but let's say every single player in your lobby has a skill rating of like 1 to 10. And you come in there and you have a skill rating of 2, essentially. Obviously, this is all just imaginary and invisible. No one actually knows their skill rating.
Bruh.
But let's say your skill rating is 2, but in your lobby, there's a guy who has a skill rating of 9. Well, chances are they're going to put the skill rating 9 player with that 2 player on the same team, so that it averages out both teams so they have roughly equal skill. That's how team balancing works. That's how it's worked in virtually every...
Man, whatever happened to Ping is king? Remember when Ping used to be king or some shiza like that? They were like, okay, F that, bruh. Like, we ain't gonna do anything about that. F that. Gotta have skill-based matchmaking. I'm strong. I'm independent. Strong and independent. Strong and independent. Strong and independent. That's what Activision did with skill-based and engagement-based matchmaking.
Single video game out there. Do you ever wonder why, like, if you join a game and there's a bunch of really good players and a bunch of really bad players, they divide the good players up on separate teams? Typically, of course, there are some...
They're all trying to divide us. Wake up. You need to wake up. They're trying to divide you and me. They're trying to divide us all, bro. Wake up. We need to come together as one.
Hiccups and some exceptions, but typically they try to divide the lobby into even teams to make the matchmaking experience a bit better. But the idea is the matchmaking that takes place before the team balancing is what's causing so many issues. And going back to what Mark said, the idea of having more variety within your online experience would be fantastic. It really does. Like, he put it nail on the head, man. He put it perfectly. How most matches kind of feel the same. Sure, there's different people, and maybe they're using occasionally different weapons or different attachments, but the play style is all there. You know, their names are irrelevant when it comes down to it, because everyone plays virtually the same if you're in a very strict skill-based matchmaking bracket. You know what I mean? And if you're somebody who just wants to chill out and enjoy the game, but you're also above average, you're the kind of person that's getting punished the most here. If you talk about the idea of that bell curve, right? You have your worst players on the left, you have your best players on the right, and if
skill-based matchmaking, hell You don't want to end up in skill-based matchmaking. You don't want to end up in that, bro. Worst players, average players. I would say like this is where I'm at, and I'm like, gotta pump the brakes. The second you lean towards there, you gotta like, you gotta pump the brakes because that skill-based matchmaking, goddamn, man. That's the devil itself.
You're like somewhere like close to the right, but you're not quite one of the best players in the world. You're in like skill-based matchmaking hell because everyone in your game is really good. They know what they're doing, and that kind of person typically, and this is just my personal experience over the past 15 years, but that kind of person typically doesn't stray too far from the meta. That person is not going to be running around getting their knife kills. Like, I can't remember the last time I played a Call of Duty match and there was somebody on the other team doing knife challenges. It doesn't happen in my lobbies, man. Whereas back,
I remember like during Modern Warfare 3 Black Ops 2 days, I would spot like so many people that would run around with shield on their back, just knife because they needed to complete the knife challenge, or maybe like this is how they used to get their testosterone therapy. It was either camo challenge or them trying to get testosterone therapy. But nowadays you don't see that. Everybody's running like M4A1 with like 10 billion attachments, MP5s, AKs, shotgun. That's it. That's the only thing. There's no variety, man. Damn, man. Damn, son.
In the day, people did it for fun. God forbid people had fun playing the video game. And as someone who likes to do challenges and progression and things like that, I'm gonna be going for the Orion camo and all the things I can do within Modern Warfare 2. It's one of the things that kind of keeps me sane after playing COD for so long, is being a completionist. You know, going for these challenges is ridiculously frustrating sometimes because of skill-based matchmaking, and not to mention all the issues that you have when you play in a party of your friends and you all have varying degrees of skill. So the lobbies just become completely terrible. Like, they'll match you in a super sweat.
Bro, same. This is what I was talking about the other day as well. Like, when I play solo, I usually am watching like a podcast, I'm listening or watching a YouTube video, because I really cannot, nowadays I cannot play. Maybe it's ADHD, maybe Call of Duty got too boring, or I think it's a little bit of both. I feel like that I've been playing Call of Duty for so long. I also probably have ADHD. Our attention spans are going down dramatically, okay? That's a real problem, okay? We need to fix that problem, but probably not gonna be able to. And Call of Duty with the skill-based man, whatever, right? When I play solo, I listen to some videos in the background and I play pretty decent for myself. But the second I get into my friends' lobbies, the second I do know my friends, okay, I'll say that they are really good, okay, because they play the games a lot more than me, right? I barely get time to just play the game, right? They play a lot more than me, and on top they play Rainbow Six. They know how to sweat. They have been sweating their tits off for years and years, so they are very good players. So they can, when they sweat in Call of Duty, for them it's pretty normal. They're like, yeah, whatever, like we do that every day, right? Like we do that in Rainbow. For them it's basically nothing. But when I party up with them and when I play with them, I can barely play. I get like, I'm running around the enemy, I'm running around like I'll go tax spread like I'm like, I haven't even seen the enemy would come out, bang, 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 and I'm dead. Like, I'm dead. That's just like repeat, rinse and repeat. And I genuinely feel like that when you play with friends that have like different skill level, and especially like, God forbids if they are better player than you, then if you party up with them, then you're gonna have a terrible time, because every one of them will have different skill, and skill-based matchmaking is like trying to matchmake the, I'm assuming, the highest, the best player from your group, right? And if they pick the best player from your group and you're kind of like the worst player, then goddamn, man, that's it, bro. Like, it's gonna be, you're gonna have a tough time. And that's the thing that I really hate, because they kind of killed the factor of you playing and having fun with your friends. Like, I can do pretty decent, I can have fun when I play solo, but can a brother perhaps play with friends and still have fun? You know what I mean?
Lobby and make you face another party of people, but that party of people's better than your party of people, and so, you know, one or two people on your team are trying to carry, whereas everyone else is just trying their best to go positive, and they can't because this is not their skill-based matchmaking bracket, and they're not used to this. And
I deadass was talking about this too.
It's a whole thing, man. It is. It makes playing with friends worse. It makes playing solo worse. It makes going for challenges worse, and it benefits the new players, sure, but there's ways around around it. Like I said, having that onboarding system where if you're brand new to the game, you should have, you know, some sort of protected bracket, especially if you're really bad, you know, like you basically can't walk in a straight line. But after that, there's nothing wrong with being bad at a game when the game is there to help.
You know what? You're just jealous. You're just toxic. But ladies and gentlemen, recently IGN canceled Modern Warfare 2. They say Modern Warfare 2 is worse than van garbage. I'm not joking. Click on this video on the screen. We got a whole lot of toxic masculinity, and I will see you right there. Subscribe.